All right, what's going on? Today we are talking about nutrition and we're talking about tracking and we're figuring out why is it that we need to track food, right? We're going to go through why it's important, how to track food, and just really understanding like why we're even doing this. So let's get right into it. So why do we track food? It's all about awareness, right? This process is about becoming aware of what you're eating. And you can't change what you don't understand, right? And so every woman I've ever worked with is under eating. So their calories are low, their metabolism has crashed. And so usually we have to eat more food. And in order to do that, it helps to figure out, first of all, where are you at, right? How many calories are you even eating? From there, we can pivot. It gives us real data so we don't have to guess. And it also allows you to hit your goal, right? Your protein goal, making sure you have enough fats and carbs because fats are important for cortisol, for hormones, for stress, everything. And so look at tracking as something that is empowering. A lot of people look at tracking and they're like, I don't want to do that. That's restrictive. But look at it the opposite way. I would challenge you to look at it the opposite way because by tracking, it allows you to eat foods that you enjoy and know that you're getting closer to your goal. So it allows you to eat a treat once in a while, eat a slice of pizza when you want to go out, right? You go out and you want to get a burger. Like you can do that because you track it and you know this is actually getting me closer to my goal, right? A lot of women in this program lose weight while eating more food. And they're able to do that because they track their food and they see, okay, I'm still within, my level. So I can eat some things that I enjoy. And so look at it as something that is freeing. Look at it as a thing to become aware. We're going to start learning how much you're eating, and you're going to start learning where the calories are sneaking in. All right. So what do we need to track and what do we not need to track? So we should track almost everything, but some things and things we have to track, right? Like proteins, chicken, beef, fish, eggs, your grain, right? Pastas, oats, rice, fats, right? Nut butters, seed oils, right? Like olive oils, avocado, like those are very calorie dense. Things like dairy, milk, yogurt, sauces and dressings are something where it sneaks in a lot. Olive oil, Caesar dressing, all of that, balsamic, snacks and protein bars, alcohol. Things you don't have to track are black coffee. If you put milk in your coffee, then you just track the milk, right? Like a couple tablespoons of milk, quarter cup of milk. You don't have to track water. You don't have to track leafy greens, spinach, kale, lettuce. You don't have to ever track that. If you want to test it, say you have a cup of lettuce, look it up and see how little calorie it is, and you'll realize why you don't even need to track it. Vegetables like broccoli, cauliflower, you can track those at the beginning, and once you learn that they're not a lot of calories, you don't have to track them. The things you do have to track if you saute vegetables is like your olive oil, right? That's where the calories come in. So vegetables, you can track them to start. Things like cucumbers and celery and stuff, you'll track it and see how little calorie it is. 0 calorie sodas, we don't have to track. Other things you don't have to track is like seasonings, salt and pepper, different like seasonings that you use. They don't have calories. And so you'll start to learn all of that. So different ways to track food, right? The easiest is to just weigh it out on a kitchen scale, right? You have a chicken breast that you cook for dinner. You put your plate on the scale, 0 the scale, take the chicken, put it on, say it's 6 ounces, you search chicken breast, 6 ounces, and it'll tell you exactly what it is. And you'll start to learn how much stuff weighs, and over time you won't have to weigh it anymore. But this is great for like weighing anything. It gives you the exact amount, right? So you know exactly how much it is. You can also use measuring cups, right? A quarter cup, a cup. Remembering like your fist is 1 cup. So if you want to guess, say you're like out to eat and you have like a side of rice, if you can look at the rice, is it like 1 cup? Is it like a fist? You think of a measuring cup, right? 1 cup, it's the fist. So, you look at your rice like, okay, is that like a fistful or is that 2 fistfuls? Okay, 2 cups, maybe 1.5. So you can use measuring cups to physically like, if you're going to cook rice, like put it in the cup. Okay, 1 cup of rice, uncooked. When you're searching, you want to make sure if it's cooked or not cooked, like that will make a difference, right? Like uncooked rice is going to be, it's going to have more volume, right, than uncooked rice or vice versa. So you can use measuring cups. You can use, you always want to make sure we're weighing like those high calorie things, like your nut butters, your avocado, potatoes, things like that. And then you can use spoons for oil and sauces. So olive oil, you can use a tablespoon instead of just like drizzling, right? And that will give you exactly how many tablespoons of sauce you did. Honey, coffee, creamer, olive oil, dressing, like you can use measuring spoons for that. There's also a barcode scanner in the app. So anything that has a barcode, right? Anything out of a bag or a can, you can usually scan the barcode and it will find it. It doesn't always have it, but most of the time you can scan it and it will just find it for you. And then you just have to figure out how much of it you're using. This is a pure example of why we measure. So if you just take olive oil and you spread it around in your bowl, right, like we all used to do, or I used to do, that can easily be 300 to 400 calories, right? If you use about 3 tablespoons, which is like you going around. If you measure it instead, right, 1 tablespoon is only 120 calories. And most of the time we don't need that much olive oil. It's just easy to overuse it when you pour it. So if you measure out your oil, you're going to start noticing like, oh wow, it adds up quicker than you think. And that can be the difference between losing weight and not, is a couple hundred calories that can sneak in. That's why we want to track, because you're going to start seeing where the calories are sneaking in. It's usually the very dense, I call it high calorie, low volume, right? Like not a lot of volume. Something that's high calorie, low volume is like olive oil, right? Something that is low calorie, high volume is popcorn. You could eat like 4 cups of popcorn and it's like not a lot of calories, versus a couple cups of olive oil is like, a lot more. Some principles to go by is just making sure you have a protein, a carb, and a fat in every meal. So, protein fills you up, vegetables add fiber. Taste the rainbow, I say, right? Like you want to have colors on your plate. That's a great variety to have different vitamins, antioxidants, minerals, so have different colors. And then I know everyone knows about how much protein do I need. We will get into all of that. But as a staple, 30 grams of protein for breakfast, for lunch, and for dinner is great. 30 grams for each meal is a great staple to think from. But we'll adjust all that. You'll learn it over time. Different way to think about eating food, right, is like the cubed method. So you want 3, like for your day, right? You want to think about like what protein, like say for each meal, what's my protein, right? Is it chicken, salmon, beef, eggs? What is my protein? What is my carb? Is it rice, quinoa, sweet potato, pasta, potatoes? Like, what is my carb and what is my fat? And fats usually find their way in. It's the olive oils, the avocado, like nuts, bacon. Like it's in a lot of foods anyways. So really it's like, what's my protein? What's my carb? Making sure we have vegetables. And you can think about that for each meal, right? It's like, what is my protein source? What is my carb to pair with it? And then what's the fat that's going to be in there? Or making sure we have vegetables. And so that could look like 2 eggs as your protein. Carbs is your sourdough. Fats is your cheddar cheese. Lunch could be chicken breast. That's your protein. Quinoa, that's your carb. Olive oil, that's your fat. Dinner could be fish. That's your protein. Potatoes is your carb. Bacon or broccoli, that's your fat, right? Or your olive oil. Fats usually sneak their way in. So, and then this allows you to have a free meal once a week, right? This allows you to you track your food during the week. Like, okay, I've been eating this much. Each day I can have, however many calories it is, right? It's usually more than what you're eating right now. And so that allows you okay, I can have a slice of pizza. I can go out and eat a burger because I'm still within that range. And so tracking your food gives you some sense of freedom. So I hope this helped. Remember, track your proteins, track your carbs and fats. You don't need to track leafy greens. You want to weigh things out on your scale. Use measuring cups. You can guess by your fist. Aim for 30 grams of protein. Have different colors. And remember, we're not looking for perfection. We're looking for you to start becoming aware of what you're eating and what do the macros look like, right? And then we adjust as needed. And so reach out with questions. Along with this video is a PDF that I'm sending as a message that's very similar to this. Go through the PDF again. Just read through it, understand this, and reach out with any questions, and we'll get more into this as the weeks go on.